Good afternoon, everybody. Meteorologist Frank Gaetano here for our daily hail forecast. As always, sponsored by C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, the American Contractor Show, and Atlas Roofing. Thank you guys for sponsoring these videos. The link to those pages is in the description to this video. We have a pretty big and large active day ahead for the northern plains. Pretty decent risk for some very large hail and possibly some significant wind gusts with storms in the northern plains today. We'll talk about that. And then we're going into this weekend. We do have a couple of marginal risks as a cold front works its way southeastward tomorrow, and then a smaller risk in the Ohio Valley into the northeast on Sunday. I'll show you exactly where that's going to be. And then after that, it looks like we might have a quiet start to next week before things may tend to pick up again. We'll have to see. We'll take a look at the pattern at the end of the video. Going into yesterday's storm reports, we did have a nice scatter of reports throughout the country. Some wind in the southeast, some wind and hail in the northern plains and the upper Mississippi Valley, and then some more reports in the central plains and back west into the intermountain regions of the country. A couple areas I want to focus on. We're going to look at central Kansas, where we had some large hail reports and some high wind reports, and also several tornado reports going across central Kansas through I-70 corridor here. So there was a couple tornadoes in that area yesterday. And then we'll take a look up north into Minnesota, where we had a nice swath of some large hail move through central Minnesota, northern Minnesota, and then a couple of reports back here to the west in the northern plains in South Dakota, and a couple of reports up in North Dakota as well. Taking a look at our current conditions around the country, generally pretty quiet for most of the country. We have some rain moving through Missouri, and then we're going to zoom into the risk area here. We did have storms going on pretty much all morning. We've already had some large hail go on in northern Minnesota, and this is the activity associated with that. That's going to dissipate as it works eastward, and we see the clearing behind here. This is going to be the focus for our severe weather starting later this afternoon. This is going to be the biggest area of concern when it comes to the large hail and those strong winds. So we see nice clearing back here. That is conducive for that severe weather today. We do see temperatures starting to go up. We're going to be into the 100s through Texas, Oklahoma, and into Kansas today, as well as some really hot spots in the southeast also, and then we're going to be up in the 90s up in the risk area. Everywhere else pretty mild. We're in the 80s out here in the Ohio Valley, and if we work our way back to the west, we're generally cooler than the rest of the country in the intermountain region of the country. And we also have a lot of moisture to go around throughout the eastern portions of the country and central portions of the country, as well as we see dew points in the 70s through the central plains and the Mississippi Valley, up into the 60s up in Minnesota, and also 70s and 60s through the eastern portions of the country, and much drier out west. But that moisture is going to be good fuel for the storms today up in the northern plains. So you've seen this before. It's our significant hail model. This gives us an idea of the conditions being ripe for very large hail in the atmosphere. And we do see those deeper colors here in the northern plains in this afternoon. This is 3 p.m. near Bismarck. And if we push that forward a little bit, it gets even deeper as we work towards the Fargo area, right like going into this evening during what we call power hour, which is about 7 o'clock. So we do still see those deep colors indicating that very large hail is possible this evening. And then those colors tend to go down as we go into the overnight hours. Instability tends to wane, and those storms begin to weaken as far as hail is concerned, become more of a wind threat later this evening. So here's what the radar is looking like, the forecast radar. We're going to start out west, where we do see the possibility of some scattered thunderstorms today. Not quite as intense of updrafts as we're going to see in the northern plains, but these can produce wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour today. As we go through the afternoon and evening, we do see those scattered thunderstorms through Wyoming and then into western portions of Nebraska. And then when they get into the main risk area today, we do see those start to intensify this evening, and those are going to be potentially bringing some very strong winds with them as they work their way eastward throughout the evening and into the overnight hours. And then now we're going to work to our main risk area for today. Take a look at the forecast radar for there. So we're going to go into the afternoon here, and we do see storms starting to pop up near Bismarck and eastern portions of North Dakota, and then just west of Bismarck as well. And as we go through the afternoon and evening. Those storms will intensify as they move northeastward and then start to band up later this evening and then push eastward with a significant wind threat through the Fargo area and then just into the western portions of Minnesota. And then those are going to weaken as they push eastward through the overnight hours towards daybreak tomorrow. So here's what the hail forecast is going to look like. As we look through this broad area, and yes, I included the purple today, we could see hail up to 3 inches today, so the purple did make it into the forecast today, but this is our main risk area in terms of large hail, so we'll zoom in, take a look at the possibilities for these cities. I've got a low-end risk for golf ball size hail for North Platte, and then Omaha, you're right at the edge of the risk if a singular storm that moves through Nebraska going eastward tonight can actually make it. You may see a storm just before daybreak, but it's a pretty low-end chance as far as that goes. A moderate chance for hail up to golf ball size for Rapid City. Same thing for you, Aberdeen, but that's for hail up to tennis ball size. And if we work our way northward, we have a higher risk for Bismarck and Fargo. Those are our 2 main risk cities today for hail. We could see hail up to 3 inches in both of those cities today as those storms are going to form basically over Bismarck. And then we do see a couple storms possibly forming just to the west of Fargo and working east. And Winnipeg made it into the forecast here at the very edge, northern edge of where these storms are going to be. So there's a chance that a stray supercell could impact Winnipeg today with hail possibly up to golf ball size. So welcome to the forecast, Winnipeg. You made it, Canada. All right, now we're going to move into our wind risk here. And we do have 2 areas of to watch for wind today. And like I said, we do have significant risk for this portion of the forecast area. So we'll zoom in. And a lot of the same cities are going to be listed here. We have low-end risk for Cheyenne, North Platte, Omaha, Rapid City, and if we work our way up to the north, a moderate risk for Aberdeen to see those significant wind gusts from in excess of 75 miles per hour, and then a higher end risk for you, Bismarck again, and Fargo again. And we'll take a look at our other forecast area. Florida and Georgia here in the southeast have a chance. There's going to be a bunch of pop-up thunderstorms forming across the Florida Peninsula and into southwestern Georgia. So we could see wind gusts 60 to 70 miles per hour with any of those. So low-end chances for Valdosta, I think that's how you pronounce it, Orlando, and Tampa. So that's for today. Here's what the radar is going to look like for tomorrow. It should be a cold front working its way southeastward across Iowa and then sagging back into Kansas in northern Oklahoma. So we see storms popping up through the afternoon, and this is what it's going to look like tomorrow evening. Storms moving southeast in the Davenport area, and then isolated, more conditional threat the further west and southwest you go. So our main area of concern is probably going to be in Missouri up through Iowa and then working southeastward, and again a conditional threat for storms to pop up the further westward you get. So we'll see those storms go through the evening and then weaken as we get to the late evening and overnight hours with some showers lingering going towards daybreak tomorrow or on Sunday. So for tomorrow's hail forecast, like I mentioned, a pretty conditional threat the farther west you go. We could see hail up to golf ball size through the entire region with any of the storms that can get a particularly strong updraft as these storms work their way southeastward. But generally a pretty low threat for that to actually impact these cities. So Dodge City, Salina, Kansas, Kansas City, Des Moines, and Davenport, fairly low chances of seeing that hail or wind really, because like I said, storms are going to be pretty isolated along that cold front. And here's what the wind forecast is going to look like. Pretty similar, low chances throughout the area. Still all the same cities, low chance for Salina, Kansas City, Des Moines, and Davenport with the storms associated with that southeastward moving cold front. So what's going to happen after that? As we go into Sunday, right now this is what we're looking at. So this is the shortwave trough that's going to be the instigator for the storms today, and we're going to push that forward going into Saturday, and we're going to see that shortwave push off, and then things generally get pretty zonal for the rest of the country. So got that cold front moving southeastward, and then we're going to go into Sunday, and it pushes even further east. But we do have a little wiggle here, and that's going to give us the forcing that we need for a conditional threat through the Ohio Valley into upstate New York. So we could see some storms on Sunday from that, and then after that, things get pretty quiet as it continues to push off on Sunday, and we end up ridging in the middle of the country So that's through Tuesday and Wednesday. So I wouldn't really expect to see much going on until the mid to later part of next week in terms of severe weather. So the area I'm talking about for Sunday, we're going to zoom in on it right here. Like I mentioned, Ohio into Pennsylvania and New York, and then back through areas of northern Kentucky and western West Virginia. So those are going to be the areas we're looking at for the possibility of storms happening on Sunday. Again, it's still a pretty conditional threat where we are right now. We'll have to see how things play out today and tomorrow. But if there's anything that's going to pop up and be of significance on Sunday, we'll be sure to let you guys know. But make sure you stay in contact with us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube and TikTok. We are at HailTrace for all those. And if you want to get in direct contact with us, you can call us at 855-334-4245. You can email us at info@hailtrace.com, or you can go straight to our website, www.hailtrace.com, if you want more info about who we are and what we can do for you guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. I'm meteorologist Frank Gaetano. Have a great day.